You're listening to Arirang Radio's Wonders of Jeju. This is a segment where we tell you about the lives of people living right here on the island. I'm your host, DJ Jamie. This is Humans of Jeju. Welcome in.
Thank you.
It's good to have you here, and it's great to see you again. How have you been?
Oh, pretty good. I'm always happy to be here.
Mm-hmm.
It's been one of those usual weeks.
Oh, okay.
Nothing special.
Except that we had beautiful weather.
Yes. Yes. And I'm glad it's getting cooler and cooler.
You do. I'm glad you are. Well, you have brought in yet another human being for us today, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
Can you tell us who that might be?
Yeah, sure. So, Jamie, do you like movies?
Who doesn't? I love movies.
Do you watch a lot of foreign movies as well, or?
Actually, I have a mixture of both.
Okay.
I don't have a preference. I enjoy any type of movie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
How about you?
Usually, I watch Korean movie or, American movie.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, I like to listen than, reading the subtitles.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but today's a little bit different story.
Oh.
So, there are many festivals held around Jeju Island related to movies.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised that there are so many.
Do you know a couple or?
Yes, we've been talking about them on the show as well. I mean, I know that there's a women's film festival, right? And then you might not know, but there's a drone film festival, actually.
Oh, really?
Except,
That's new.
I know, it's a new thing. It's actually going to be happening here on November.
Oh, wow.
And it's called Jeju International Drone Film Festival.
Wow.
Isn't that interesting?
That's interesting. Wow.
I look forward to that.
Okay.
Okay, so why are we talking about movies and film festivals here?
Yeah, because today we're going to listen to the commissioner of Jeju French Film Festival, Ko Young-nim, a festival that has actually started today.
Okay, wow, okay, I'm excited. All right, so let's start.
Yeah, so why don't we listen to the commissioner first?
Okay.
안녕하십니까, 고영림입니다. 저는 제주고시고요. 제주시 원도심 그 칠성로 아시죠? 그 칠성로에서 하나만 더 북쪽으로 길을 가면 거기 북신장로라고 있어요. 북쪽에 난 신장로. 네, 거기 출신이고요. 제주에서 태어나서 북초등학교, 중앙여주, 그리고 제주여고를 졸업을 했습니다. 그리고 이제 서울에 있는 대학교로 진학을 해서 이대 불문과를 제가 80년도에 갔는데 대학 4년을 이제 서울에서 보낸 거죠. 그리고 졸업하자마자 84년 여름에 프랑스로 유학을 갑니다. 제가 공부한 곳이 프랑스 동북부에 있는 그 알자스 로렌 지방이라고 들어보셨을 거예요. 그 알퐁스도대 마지막 수업이 배경이 된 거기 알자스 지방의 가장 큰 도시인 스트라스부르 그곳에서 12년 동안 공부를 했습니다.
Wow.
Yes. So today we meet Commissioner Ko Young-nim, whose hometown is Jeju Island. If you know the Chilseongro Street of Jeju Old Downtown, there's actually one road north of that called the Bukshinjangro.
Right.
And that's where she was born and raised. So if you happen to know that place, that's where she was born and raised.
Okay.
So born in Jeju City, she went to the North Jeju City Elementary School. She graduated from the Chungang Girls Middle School and also graduated Jeju Girls High School.
Okay.
So she's a real native here of Jeju.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Then she went to Seoul and attended Ewha Women's University. And she majored in French literature and language as well. And she graduated from the class of 1980. So after graduating in 1984, on that summer, she went to study abroad in France.
Wow.
And the place that she studied in France was a region northeast of France called Alsace-Lorraine. And at the region of Alsace, which is the scenery of Alphonse Douzet's The Last Lesson, in the biggest city of the region, Strasbourg, she studied for 12 years.
Wow.
There in France, she majored in linguistics and earned her bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degree. Yes, a very
she did
scholar.
a lot of
yes. So after she studies abroad, she came back to Korea in 1996 and lived in Seoul for 10 years. And at the age of 47, she came back to her hometown, which is Jeju Island.
Wow, that's giving me the goosebumps. Okay, so is there a reason why she came back to her hometown in Jeju Island? I mean, I'm really happy that she did, but I'm curious to know about the reason.
Yeah, so after 27 years, she came back to her hometown. For her, Jeju Island is like an assignment in her life, she said. And that, that needs to be solved. What she means by that is, since she was little, this was the place where her parents took care of her and loved her. And she learned to play the piano here and even had great teachers who supported her. With that said, hometown for her was a paradise. And at the time, Jeju Island was everything to her. When she left to Seoul in the 80s, the world was so big and competitive for her. But some ways she was able to go study abroad as well. And leaving the country at the age of 24 and living in France until age 36. Why don't we listen to how she felt as she got farther and farther away from her hometown?
Okay.
이렇게 힘들 때 위안을 주는 곳은 서울이 아니라 제주구나. 힘들 때마다 잠들기 전에 이렇게 눈 딱 감고 생각해 보면 너무 힘든데 지금 이 단계를 내가 넘어서야 그 다음 단계를 나아가는데 어딘가 위안을 받아야 되는데 머릿속에 딱 떠오르는 풍경이 어릴 때는 화려하지 않은 제주도의 흐릿하고 막 억새 이런 풍경이 여기는 뭐 화려한 것도 없고 우리 제주도는 근데 세상에 나이가 먹어가면서 이게 정말 제대로 철드는 건지 그 흐릿하고 비만이 오고 바람 많이 불는 이 제주의 그 풍토라고 그러죠. 이게 나의 에너지였더라고요.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. So as she went through some tough and lonely times, the place that comforted her, she realized was not Seoul but Jeju Island.
Why is that?
So before falling asleep, whenever she closes her eyes, she says she thinks about the place that comforts her during the tough times.
Right.
And the scenery that pops up in her mind is the scenery of Jeju Island.
Wow.
Not the non-fancy scenery that she experienced when she was little, surrounded by all this silver grasses. Maybe it's she also mentioned that maybe it's part of becoming mature or part of getting older.
Perhaps.
But she says she now realized that the natural features of Jeju Island, which is cloudy, rainy, and windy, are actually what energizes her.
Oh, wow. That's a really interesting perspective. So when she came back to Jeju, what kind of work did she do?
So while she was studying in France, she thought to herself, before she died, she would come back to her hometown and would find the meaning of Jeju Island in her life. So when she came back to Korea from France, until she was in her mid-40s, she gave lectures in universities in Seoul.
Oh, wow.
And even though she had told herself that, she would go back to her hometown, she kind of kept missing out on the chances. But sensing that she had to make this opportunity on her own, she decided to research Jeju native language.
Oh.
Since she had majored in linguistics.
I see.
So earning the project by Korea Research Foundation, that's how she was able to come back to her hometown and she did research about the Jeju language.
Oh, how interesting.
About the sound, intonation, and accent.
I see.
And like that, she came back. While living here, she even got the chance to teach French literature to students in Jeju National University. And that's how she came to make the Jeju French Film Festival as well.
Well, that's really interesting. I mean, now she's working in film, but she has been studying in French and coming back to Jeju because of the Jeju language, the dialect is really interesting. So the Jeju French Film Festival has started today, as you said, and Kelly had introduced this on her corner yesterday. So we're meeting the person who actually created this movie festival, but tell us more about how she got it started.
Yeah, so while teaching French literature in university, she noticed that the students were able to understand about culture much easier and faster when they watch a movie.
I totally agree.
Right.
Yes.
Same here. So that was when she thought about starting a movie festival.
Ah, I see.
And thinking about how she was going to make the festival happen, she decided to send an email to the French embassy.
Wow.
In Korea to help her out, actually. She said, she had no connection with anyone in the embassy, but just wrote an email saying that she was teaching students in Jeju University and wanted to hold a French film festival. And since the movies are from your country, please help me out.
It all started with just an email. Amazing.
And that was how in 2011 April the festival first started.
Wow.
And at the time she said she didn't mention it being the first French festival and just named the festival Rendezvous French Movie of Spring.
Wow.
The program included turning on 7 DVD movies. And looking back, she says it really wasn't a movie festival though.
Oh, okay. But still, that means that the spring of 2011 was the time that it actually started, the Jeju French Film Festival, right?
Yes. It started at the Old Korea Theater in Jeju Chilseongro Street. As Jeju went through changes and the population was moving more towards the, Jeju City Hall and Shinjeju. The old downtown was becoming kind of abandoned.
Right.
But remembering her childhood, she remembered how the Korea Theater in the old downtown used to be filled with people around the city. And kind of wanting to revive that feeling, that was how she selected the theater to hold the festival.
I see.
Now, the theater actually has disappeared. But at the time, the festival was first held at the theater and gave a very cozy vibe with this sort of 70s and 80s atmosphere as well.
Awesome.
Also for the festival, a representative from French embassy in charge of film exchange took part in the festival and gave a congratulatory message as well.
I see.
But being the first, things didn't go smoothly as she had hoped for.
Of course.
But she did say, it still was a memorable moment for her.
I mean, everything in the beginning is difficult and you have your challenges. So even though it didn't go smoothly, if it didn't, now the festival has grown into a large event, a huge one on Jeju Island, hasn't it?
Yes. After the first festival, she says on the summer of that same year, she actually got a call from the French embassy about holding the festival again.
Oh my goodness. So that's how it started.
Yeah. So on the fall of that year, the festival was held again.
Wow.
And she worked as an organizer of the festival as well.
Oh, it's giving me the goosebumps indeed. Okay, so this year actually marks the 12th Jeju French Film Festival, doesn't it? Which means that the film festival never missed a year. I imagine that was possible due to all of her hard efforts.
Yes, she said she really likes to watch movies.
Okay.
She said there was a huge movie theater in Dongmun Market, which now is really gone, called the Dongyang Theater. So this was in a building that was in the early 1960s, kind of like a department store. And on the second floor, and on the movie theater was on the second floor. And also on this floor, actually, her father ran a furniture store as well.
Oh, so she has special memories kind of linked to that building.
Yeah, so she remembers there were like lots of people who would finish watching the movie. And as they come out the theater, they would come to visit her father's store to buy furniture.
Okay.
So she said, that was how her father made money to educate her and her siblings. Also, that was when she was in her teens as well. So she also remembers kind of sneaking into the movie theater and watching the movies for free.
Oh, wow. She was able to do that.
She also mentioned that there were what should I say? Like people guarding the entrance and everything. But they will let her in because they know her, So that was very interesting to hear as well.
Yeah.
And the movies she saw at the time were like blockbuster movies like The Sound of Music and Ben-Hur.
Wow. All right. Wow. It seems like that's how her interest in movies got started, I suppose. And so then while she was studying abroad in France, did she watch a lot of movies there as well? I'm kind of curious.
Yeah. Let's listen to what she said.
그러다가 뉴욕 가서 진짜 프랑스에서 영화를 많이 봤죠. 영화를 많이 본 게 혼자 즐길 수 있는 게 영화만한 게 없어. 그러니까 영화에 대한 안목이 조금씩 생긴 거예요. 많이 보다 보니. 그리고 프랑스 친구들은 영화를 보고 나면 꼭 토론을 해. 토론이라기보다는 영화 보고 나면 할 얘기가 많아. 그게 지금 말하면 시네토크야. 감독이 없어도 우리들끼리 얘기하는 거야. 그 문화 충격이죠. 아니, 그러니까 책을 읽으면 책에 대해서 우리 얘기를 하듯이 이건 영상 텍스트잖아요. 영상 텍스트를 봤어. 그럼 자기의 느낌을 할 얘기가 있는 거야. 그걸 너는 뭐라고 생각하니? 묻질 않더라도 영화 보고 나오면서 뭐라도 막 얘기를 하는 거예요. 그래서 그런 문화 충격 속에서 제가 12년 있었다고 한번 생각해 보세요. 영화처럼 다른 세상에 갔다 올 수 있는, 경험할 수 있는 딱 2시간이면 다른 세상에 들어갔다 오잖아요. 그러면 나오면 난 지금 여기 어디? 나는 누구? 잠시 그런 경험이 축적이 되다 보니까 영화의 막 그 매력에 그냥 그 가람이 옷젖듯이 있잖아요. 쭉 해갖고 그 문화를 제가 좀 흡수한 것 같습니다. 그래서 우리 학생들도 일단 제주대학교 학생들, 내가 가르치는 학생들도 한번 영화를 통해서 다른 세상 한번 들여다보는 기회를 가졌으면 좋겠다.
Okay, so can you explain what she says?
Yeah, so when she went to study abroad in France, she saw a lot of movies there. She says watching movies was something that she could enjoy alone. And watching so many movies was how she developed her views on movies as well. Also, she mentioned that people in France often like to have discussions and talks about the movies after watching them. So it was like having this, like, she mentioned it as cinema talk with them, among themselves without having like the director. So that was somewhat a cultural shock for her, she said. Because after the movies, she said they would ask each other about their thoughts about the movies. And even if it wasn't asked about to anyone, someone would be talking about their thoughts about the movie as well. So for 12 years in France, she lived in, such culture. For her, the 2 hours of watching movie is like experiencing a life in a different world.
Oh, nice way to put it.
So like that, she wanted to share that feeling with her students in Jeju University and give them the opportunity to experience that different world through movies as well.
I see. So are there other French film festivals in Korea besides the one we're talking about?
So far as she knows, and she mentioned there isn't. But there are some theaters that hold like French Cinema Week. And, they would show French films during like certain period. But this is the one and only French Film Festival in Korea that shows French films all day for the 5 days of the festival.
Wow, 5 days in total.
Arirang. Radio.
Introducing to you another human of Jeju who is Ko Young-nim, who is the person who actually began the wonderful Jeju French Film Festival, that is. And she was on the show here at Arirang Radio. You may have known this. She helped introduce the ladies who sing the 노동요, which is the work songs of Jeju, which is a traditional song. So we had the opportunity to hear her actually speak in French as well.
Oh, really?
So it's great to hear more insight about her.
Yeah.
Okay, so before the song break, though, we talked about the French Film Festival and how it is the only French film festival in Korea. What is special about this festival? Can you tell us?
Yeah, so when the Jeju French Film Festival first started, it was actually a non-competitive movie festival. So it was held with only full-length films. But starting from the 10th year of the festival, they created a section for international short film competition.
I see.
So in 2019, in order to develop the festival further, they invited short films created by directors in French-speaking countries to compete for the contest. So it included directors' film from France, Switzerland, Canada, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, and Senegal.
Wow.
So-called Francophonie. On the first year, 600 films were submitted.
Oh, wow.
Which was really surprising for them. So they appointed judges for the contest and made 4 awards.
Wow.
The 4 awards, which are, one was grand prize selected by the judges. And there was another prize selected by the audience. prize selected by children judges, and another prize selected by children audiences as well. So even this year, they have 400 films were submitted, and 18 films were selected to be shown for the festival. So during the period of the festival, it will be judged by the judges. So all full-length and short films will be shown for free by order of arrival.
Oh, it sounds really nice. So how is the short film contest held, actually?
So there's an organization called that holds International Short Film Festival.
I see.
And it's a festival that is held in Auvergne, which is area in mid-France with... She mentioned, they have like autumns like Jeju as well.
Okay.
And this is a very well-known short film festival around the world. So the festival has a platform that holds contests for short films. And Jeju French Film Festival is registered in that platform so that, they can receive entries for the contest as well.
Awesome. So you said Gulermong Perang. It sounds like an interesting festival as well. Can you tell us more about it?
So the size of the festival is extremely large, she said. And like the Jeju French Film Festival, it was actually made by local movie lovers as well.
It all starts by your passion.
Yes. And this festival is actually held in a very poor city, she said, in mid-France, where the main industry is the Michelin tire factory.
Oh.
So really, you can imagine there's not much this cultural experience there that you can experience. But with the efforts by the local movie lovers, the festival was able to be created. And also the French country, they gave full supports to help build it into a major festival as well.
Oh, wow. I see.
Yeah. So even though the festival is held on a cold winter of February,
yes.
like during the 10 days of the festival, they say the city is filled with movie lovers around the world and young movie makers building networks there as well.
Despite the cold weather. Well, in this year's Jeju French Film Festival, we're going to be able to see some premiere movies, will we?
Yes, there's going to be 5 to 6 premiere movies for Korea and Jeju audiences. The premiere movies, which will also have Korean subtitles as well,
good to
will
know.
be the first shown films for the audience of Jeju French Film Festival.
Really? Okay, wow. All right, so what is a noticeable program of the festival that the commissioner has selected?
Let's listen.
제주 프랑스 영화제는 5년 전부터는 제주 시네마 포럼이라고 해서 영화에 대한 진지한 이야기를 영화계에 대한 진지한 이야기를 나누는 전문가 초청 포럼이 있습니다. 이건 그냥 와서 듣기만 해도 요즘 영화계 또 이 영화 트렌드 또 무엇이 요즘 그 영화계 측에서 주목하고 있는 주제인지 그거를 알 수가 있는데 올해는 코로나 때문에 영화 제작이라든가 영화 상영이 패러다임이 완전히 바뀐 거예요. 그래서 그 부분을 전문가 세 분이 오셔서 이야기해 주기로 했는데 제목 이번에는 주제를 영화 개념의 확장 및 비전이라고 해서
Can you tell us what she says?
So, since 5 years ago, they added a section called Jeju Cinema Forum to the festival.
I see.
And this is where they have like this earnest talks and discussions about the movies and the movie industry by inviting experts. And just coming to listen, you'll be able to learn about the movie industry and its trend. You can learn about the subject that the industry is focusing on and how the movie paradigm has changed due to COVID.
I see.
So this year, 3 experts are invited to talk about such subjects.
Oh, it sounds interesting.
So that's a very interesting section too.
Yes, indeed. So since yesterday, actually, we've been able to hear the news about this year's 12th Jeju French Film Festival, and even more through the commissioner's Ko Young-nim's interview today. It's awesome.
Yeah, and while interviewing, we were able to see leaflets from the past festivals.
Oh.
And we actually posted it on our SNS as well. And there we were able to see one of the pamphlets that our Tuesday reporter, Agne.
Yes.
She drew the cover of it.
Oh, awesome.
So we asked her, and she told us that she first came to Jeju Island because of the 2011 Jeju French Film Festival. And that was when she fell in love with Jeju. and has been living here ever since.
Oh, okay. All right. So lastly, what is the travel course? This is a question we like to ask all of our humans that we introduce. What is the travel course that the commissioner of Jeju French Film Festival recommends to our listeners?
Yeah, so let's listen.
Okay.
제주에 진짜 제주를 보고 싶으면 제주시 구도심, 원도심으로 와야죠. 뭐 관광객들이 동문시장을 물론 많이 가죠. 전통시장이고. 근데 저는 칠성로를 한번 걸어본 것을 권합니다. 칠성로는 제주도에서 가장 오래된 길 중에 하나로 이게 반듯한 길은 아니에요. 근데 일단 칠성로를 한번 걸어보시고 그 다음에 산지천에 이제 고시주택이라고 제가 협회장으로 있는 그 단체가 그 100년 가까이 된 집을 제주도에서 그걸 개발한다고 부순다고 한 거를 2014년에 시민운동을 해서 그 지켜낸 집이 있어요. 거기는 제주도의 오래된 전통과학 잘 사는 집이었죠. 그 집 마당에 가서 잠시 잔디에서 앉아서 좀 쉬어보는 것도 좋은 경험이 될 것 같고, 그리고 당연히 관덕정에 앉아서 이렇게 그 동시장 방향을 이렇게 보는 느낌 한번 가져봤으면 좋겠어요. 역사 속으로 들어가 보는 느낌인 거죠. 그러니까 15세기에 지어진 그 패빌리언 정자잖아요. 자,
Where does she introduce?
Yes, if you want to see the real Jeju, she said, you have to visit the old downtown of Jeju City.
Okay.
Of many visitors, they know about the Dongmun Market.
That's right.
But she also recommends walking the Chilseongro Street, since it is actually one of the oldest street in Jeju Island. After that, she also recommends walking the Sanjicheon Stream. And there is a house called Goshi Jutek, and maintained by an organization that she is actually president of, which is a house that was built for around 100 years on Jeju Island.
Wow.
And this was house that she and the group protected through citizen campaign from being reconstructed.
Oh, she saved the building.
So she recommends taking a break at the garden of the house and feel the long tradition of Jeju as well. And also she recommends experiencing Gwandokjeong.
Okay.
And experiencing Gwandokjeong on a pavilion built in the 15th century.
Oh, wonderful. All right, so I've heard that it is actually her 60th birthday this year. And in Korea, the 60th birthday is a very important time in your life. Does she have anything special planned for herself?
Let's listen to her plans.
Okay.
올해는 제가 61년생이니까 환갑이죠. 그래서 환갑이어서 옛날에는 환갑 막 잔치다고 했는데 다 웃더라고요. 야, 환갑 잔치 해야 되는 거 아니야 했더니 무슨 잔치 했더니 뭔가 의미 있는 기록을 하나 하고 싶어서 생각해 보니까 어린 시절에 이제 피아노를 오래 배웠습니다. 사실 취미로 치는 피아노가 지금 몇십 년째가 되는데 확실히 어릴 때 배워서 그런지 이 근육이 좀 기억을 해요. 뭐 쇼팽, 뭐 베토벤, 무슨 모차르트에서 그런 거 친구들하고 뭐 후배들하고 같이 의미 있는 연주회를 한번 열어보자. 근데 무슨 고영님 피아노 독주회 뭐 이건 좀 이상하고 친구들하고 우리 열심히 잘 살아왔잖아. 5060 세대. 그래서 서로 토닥토닥 하면서 이야기를 나누는 그 이야기가 있는 이제 콘서트가 되는 거죠. 우리 세대 이야기를 한번 사람들한테 하고 또 우리를 이렇게 정말 잘 자라게 해주고 별탈 없이 이 나이까지 오게끔 해준 어르신들, 우리 부모님 세대께도 감사하고 또 후배들에게도 인생은 살다 보면 그 사람에게서 유한을 못 받을 때가 참 많지 않겠느냐. 좋은 사람도 물론 있지만 하지만 혼자 즐길 수 있고 평생의 친구가 될 수 있는 음악, 뭐 듣는 음악도 있지만 자기가 할 수 있는 악기가 있으면 그 악기가 얼마나 평생에 고마운 친구가 되는지 한번 이런 그 감동의 순간을 공유해보자. 그런 차원에서 제가 피아노 독주를 감히 이제 도전해보기로 했습니다. 아마 쇼팽 정도를 치지 않을까 싶고요. 그리고 제가 즐겨 치는 또 샹송 몇 곡 하고.
So we heard the word piano.
Yes. So born in 1961, it is her 60th birthday this year. In the past, 60th birthday was like a big thing that people celebrated, like big parties for. But, people around her actually said, they don't do that anymore, not so much. But still, she wanted to leave a meaningful record of it. So she remembers learning the piano for a long time since she was little. And she wanted to hold a meaningful concert with her friends. And she doesn't want this to be like just about her, but she wants it to be a concert where her friends in their 50s and 60s can share their stories and kind of pat each other on the back.
Yeah.
So through the concert, she wants to tell their stories and thank parents for raising them. And so to, share such emotions, she's challenging herself to play the piano once again.
Awesome. She's a person who challenges herself. Jay, thank you so much for introducing another beautiful person and telling us all this information. And we look forward to seeing you again next week.
Yes, of course.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that segment. If you're curious to find out more about Jeju, we encourage you to go check out our website at arirangradio.com/Wonders of Jeju. Or you can check out our Facebook page at Wonders of Jeju, as well as our Instagram page at Wonders of Jeju. We're going to take you on a journey to learn more about what's happening here on the island.